Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
I'm Rebecca Drake. I'll bring you a behind-the-scenes look at the play Dear Neighbor, including an interview with the playwright, Sister Jane Morrissey.
Rachel's Vineyard Retreats offer post-abortive healing. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
And Pope Francis preps run in the high school basketball tournament. Steve Kiltonic is coming up with more on that. It's all just ahead on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. As we celebrate women's history during the month of March, Our Lady of the Elms College will host a presentation of Sister Jane Morrissey's play about the history of the Sisters of St. Joseph. Rebecca Drake spent time with the actors, director, and the author herself, and has this preview now of Dear Neighbor.
My name is Mary Dooley. Mingling Mary, the sisters call me. But that mingling comes from deep inside. For the longer I live, the truer I know our God is always mingling.
Sister of St. Joseph Jane Morrissey was sorting through a box of old papers with the help of a close friend when she pulled out a copy of the original script of her play, Dear Neighbor.
I found this play and I went, wait a minute, I should show this to Pam. And I said, is this worth saving? And she said, it's worth putting on stage, but you've got to bring it up to date. And that's how it happened.
Now, supported by a cast, crew, and director with present and past ties to Elms College, Sister Jane will begin the celebration of her community's 375th anniversary through the voices of 5 sisters who have ministered to the dear neighbor over the centuries. 2023 Elms graduate Elizabeth Gord is directing the production.
There are so many incredible women. We're only highlighting 5 from the history, and it's about time that their stories get told to a modern audience.
The story of the Sisters of St. Joseph begins in Le Puy, France in 1650 and follows their ministry through poverty, revolution, and persecution to serving new generations of poor in America. The play's director believes today's young Catholic women in particular can be inspired by this history.
Getting to preserve the history in that way is fantastic. I'm hoping that that will be able to reach younger generations as well, and perhaps it'll inspire some to join the sisterhood.
Olivia LeBlanc will be portraying present-day Sister Patricia McDonnell. A member of the Elms College class of 2026, she didn't hesitate to become involved with the production.
I've always known about the story of the Sisters of St. Joseph, but reading and hearing other people describe the monologues of the fight that they got through to get where they are today was incredible, really eye-opening.
The young actress hopes to raise awareness of the ongoing work and dedication of the sisters.
I hope that people have more knowledge and are more aware of the work that Sisters of St. Joseph does today and all of the struggles they've gone through in the past.
The play's author hopes audience members also will leave with this special gift from the Sisters of St. Joseph.
I hope they will know how much we love them and how much love throughout our whole history has landed us in this time we are now, and will think about what are we called to do in it with our God.
Looking toward the future, Sister Morrissey believes consecrated and lay people alike can continue to transform the world together.
When we love one another as the gospel teaches us, and when we have a special heart for the poor and the needy, the orphan, the immigrant in our midst, the gospel tells us what to do. Let's listen up and follow the living word in an encounter with those in need all around us.
Now, that's the world and the church turning somersaults, and it's all upside down with love.
5 voices and 4 centuries of service to be continued. For Reel to Reel, I'm Rebecca Drake.
Thanks, Rebecca. And the play will be presented on Monday, March 18th at 4 p.m. in Veritas Auditorium on the campus of Elms College in Chicopee. There's no ticket charge, but free will offerings will be accepted. And if the director seems familiar, that's because she is the Grand Colleen for this year's Holyoke St. Patrick's Parade, taking to the streets of the Paper City next Sunday, March 17th. And I will be sitting down with her for a special feature that will air next weekend right here on Reel to Reel. And still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel, Dan Dumas is back and will have news from throughout Western Massachusetts. And Steve Kiltonick recaps the Pope Francis Cardinals basketball team's unbelievable run on the court this season. It's all still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
Hi, Mom. What are you doing today?
Providence Place, owned by the Sisters of Providence, an ideal rental setting for retirees to continue their active, independent lifestyles. We have bright 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, a magnificent chapel with daily mass, restaurant-style dining, and wellness and entertainment programs. Call for a tour, 413-534-9700.
Mom, call me when you're not so busy.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news briefs. More than 50 people gathered at the Elms College in Chicopee last Saturday to learn more about how to minister to those with mental health concerns. Carolee McGrath has the story.
give us a sense of your presence, your love, and your strength.
Bishop Byrne opened with prayer at the Mental Health Symposium held last weekend at the College of Our Lady of the Elms in Chicopee. The symposium, entitled Mental Health Challenges in a Post-COVID World, a Pastoral Response, was sponsored by the Diocese of Springfield and the Institute for Theology and Pastoral Studies at Elms College. Support was also provided by the St. Vincent de Paul Society of St. Mary Parish in Hamden.
A lot of people don't know what to do, and I think it's a silent disease in lots of ways. People don't want to admit that they've lost hope or that they don't know what to do or how to help themselves. And I think the public, we need to know how to recognize this and how to reach out and offer services to them so they don't feel so alone in this world.
The speakers included Eric Randstrom, manager of spiritual care at St. John Vianney Center, a Catholic behavioral health center for clergy and religious in Pennsylvania, and Ariel Loudermilk, a clinical psychologist for the Central Western Massachusetts VA healthcare system based in Springfield and Northampton.
We're seeing mental health needs increasing before COVID, and through COVID we see that mental health trends were also increasing. Depression, anxiety, substance use, all increasing, especially within the young adult population and younger, as well as with females and minorities.
Both speakers guided pastors on how to respond to mental health challenges.
Faith and participation in religious community offers a structure. It offers a structure for meaning, for making meaning out of loss and sorrow. It also provides hope in the companionship that we have with each other around the table of the Lord, around the Eucharist. And I think all of those elements together help us to not just have resilience, but to make meaning out of suffering and to grow closer to each other and to God in the midst of suffering.
We as a church have to respond to suffering always, because when we encounter suffering, we encounter Christ. Our Holy Father, Pope Francis, speaks about this quite frequently and calls us to be in solidarity, to walk with those, but also to advocate, and this is what we're doing today.
This was the second annual Mental Health Symposium offered by the diocese. Reporting for Reel to Reel in Chicopee, I'm Carolee McGrath.
In other news, St. Mary's High School in Westfield has received a $50,000 gift from a former graduate. Westfield native John Valenti, a member of the class of 1975, made the donation to go toward tuition assistance scholarships. Valenti, a commercial real estate assessor in Western Massachusetts, named the scholarship the Follow Scholarship after his aunt, sister of St. Francis, Anne Adams. She spent more than 30 years caring for those afflicted with Hansen's disease, formerly known as leprosy, on the island of Molokai in Hawaii. And finally, the Western Mass charity Dance-a-thon hosted Tropic Fever recently, its third annual overnighter to raise money for local charities. Kathy Harrington reports.
High energy Friday night as Tropic Fever, the 2024 Western Mass Charity Dance-a-thon, got underway. Wally the Green Monster dancing around the gym with the Westfield High School band playing Sweet Caroline.
This year we've had a lot more participation and engagement from the kids. Just equally as great community support as last year, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. You can feel the energy in the room, and it's really just reminding us of why we do what we do.
Stepping up this year to host the event, Monty, now a Roger Williams College freshman, spent 2 years on the youth advisory team and knows the WMCD inside and out.
It's a huge responsibility. I'm here for all 25 hours with the participants, and I'm guiding them in any of the games and activities that we do, letting them know when meals are ready, anything along those lines.
25 hours of activities, dancing, karaoke, games, food, took a year of planning and preparation by teams of dedicated people, including youth advisory team member Lonnie Ching.
It was a lot of work. We had to meet generally every other week, and we talked about all sorts of different things. We picked the menu for today's event. We picked the different activities that we're participating in. We picked the charities we're donating to and a lot of other aspects of the event.
Ching brought along her friends for the dance-a-thon.
A few of my friends were on the board of directors, and a lot of my friends were going because they're in the band, and so I thought it'd be really fun to come because I really enjoy going to school dances and having activities like this.
3 charities benefit from the dance-a-thon this year.
We picked Rick's Place, Rachel's Table, and Griffin's Friends. Rick's Place helps children who have gone through a loss or trauma in the family, and Rachel's Table helps with people's food insecurities, and Griffin's Friends helps children who are battling cancer.
Thanks to community business sponsors and hundreds of donors, the WMCD raised $26,000, bringing their 3-year charity fundraising to $68,505. For now, the teens will rest up as they make plans to be back next year. I'm Kathy Harrington.
You could read more on these and other stories at iobserve.org, where you can find articles from our Catholic communications staff, as well as on-demand episodes of Reel to Reel. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Reel to Reel news briefs.
Last weekend, a Rachel's Vineyard post-abortive retreat was held in the Diocese of Springfield. This ministry of Priests for Life offers hope and healing for women and men who may have been suffering in silence. Carolee McGrath has more.
Joetta and Terry Dawson stopped to pray before an image of Divine Mercy at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield. Joetta, who lives out of state, was in town to coordinate a Rachel's Vineyard retreat for abortion healing with Father Dan Pekalik, the director of pro-life ministry and the pastor of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament, and Father Anthony Gramlich, the spiritual director of Rachel's Vineyard and assistant rector at the National Shrine of the Divine Mercy in Stockbridge, where the retreats are held. Joetta, who attended a retreat more than 20 years ago, now leads Rachel's Vineyard for the Diocese of Springfield.
The pain and the grief and the self-condemnation after abortion is immense. It's immense. The pain, spiritual, psychological, physical. And through Rachel's Vineyard, you have an opportunity to go back through many painful past moments, the abortion, what led up to it, because it doesn't happen in a bubble. And you're walking with other people who've been through it. So there's a community healing, and also God just enters into every one of those broken places.
The retreats offer healing through prayer and spiritual exercises focusing on God's forgiveness, compassion, and mercy. At the retreat, Joetta says she was able to ask her child for forgiveness and named him Jude Terrence.
I was in college at the time. I was told it's a bunch of cells. Take care of the problem and it'll go away. But it doesn't. It opens up a whole new world of hurt that you can't even imagine. It doesn't solve anything. It just adds and adds and adds.
Father Anthony has been involved with Rachel's Vineyard in the diocese since 2007.
We have the Divine Mercy image in the room as we're healing, and we tell them about the message of Divine Mercy. We give them materials on Divine Mercy so that they can continue that healing even after the retreat. So Jesus is central in the healing. He just uses us as the body of Christ to help with that healing, but really Christ is at the center of that healing.
At the Divine Mercy Shrine, there's also a Shrine of the Holy Innocents, which memorializes children lost to abortion and miscarriage.
The Shrine of the Holy Innocents began with Rachel's Vineyard because we have retreatants asking us to have memorials for their children, have a place that they can go to pray for their children.
During the weekend, reconciliation is available, and it concludes with a memorial service and a Mass of Resurrection. In addition to the weekend, Rachel's Vineyard has a prayer team which prays for the participants leading up to the retreat and beyond. Also, on the Saturday of the retreat, there's Eucharistic adoration with adorers assigned on the hour to pray for the men and women involved.
Being pro-life has many aspects to it, and one of the most important is the aftercare for those who make that choice at a time when they may not be feeling any other choice is possible, to know that there's healing from that. And many times we reflect on things as time goes on, and it's not till sometimes years later that someone may come to understand better the choice they made and want the healing that only God can give.
Retreats are offered in both English and Spanish and are encouraged for men, women, parents, and grandparents, and for anyone who has worked in the abortion industry. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And for more information on Rachel's Vineyard post-abortive retreats, we have a link on our website, iobserve.org. And here's some other events taking place across Western Massachusetts. Harmony House of Western Massachusetts will hold its March Caregiver Recruitment events on March 13th from 5 to 7 p.m. and March 20th from 10 a.m. to noon at the newly renovated home at 33 View Street in Chicopee. Harmony House is a nonprofit home for the terminally ill, providing 24/7 support for hospice patients who can no longer remain safely in their own homes and do not have the monetary resources for ongoing care. Potential caregivers should have a healthcare background and ideally be able to commit to at least 4 hours per week. You can also find out more by contacting 413-315-9784 or emailing harmonyhousema@gmail.com. The Gray House in Springfield will be holding its 33rd annual Spaghetti Supper on Thursday, March 21st from 5 to 7 p.m. The event will take place at the Greek Cultural Center, 8 Plainfield Street in Springfield. This fundraiser plays a crucial role in helping the Gray House serve the community through its food assistance program, adult education classes, kids club, and special distributions such as their Christmas wish list. Tickets are $7 per person or $5 for seniors and children. Tickets and raffle books can be obtained at the door or through a link at iobserve.org. And finally, online registration for Camp Holy Cross Summer Camp is now open. 2 sessions of the camp, open for kids ages 8 to 15, will take place this summer at the camp located on Upper Highland Reservoir in Goshen. The sessions are July 7th to the 12th and July 14th to the 19th. Each session is $400. For more information or to register, call 413-684-0125 or visit campholycross.com. You can find more events on our diocesan calendar at iobserve.org.
A mother's grief over the death of her drug-addicted son gave birth to an organization dedicated to helping others on the road to sobriety. I'm Kathy Harrington, and I'll bring you the story of the Michael J. Diaz Foundation next week on Real to Real.
After losing 6 seniors from last year's Western Mass Class A title team, this year's Pope Francis Prep boys basketball team wasn't supposed to challenge for another regional or even league crown. However, this season, the Cardinals beat the odds makers, enjoying another banner year. Steve Kiltonic has the story now of the team's dramatic run to the Western Mass Championship.
On February 24th, the Pope Francis boys basketball team played in the finals of the Western Mass Class A tournament for the 2nd year in a row. Last year, the Cardinals beat West Springfield to claim their first sectional title under the Pope Francis banner. During the 2023-24 season, Pope amassed an impressive 17-2 record. The Cardinals entered the tournament as a number 1 seed, but had 2 close calls in their early round games. They squeezed by number 8 Amherst by 2 points, relying on a strong defense and the clutch scoring of Ryan Vitavelli, who finished with a game-high 26 and 16 by Garrett Anderson. Their semifinal against Holyoke was another nail-biter, as the Cardinals squeaked by in overtime 59-57. Their opponents in the final were their nemesis, number 2 Springfield Central, who beat them by 16 in December, handing Pope one of only 2 losses. Entering the title game, the Cardinals were the decided underdogs. They had never beaten Central, and in 5 previous matches had lost each by double digits. It seemed the only ones who thought they could win the game were the coaches and players themselves.
We knew we had it in us to get the job done, and throughout the season we worked really hard. We pushed ourselves in practice, got better every day, and we came to that game coming hungry and ready for a championship.
We all went to this game thinking we were going to win, and I think we knew we were going to win.
We had seen Holyoke, overtime game, really gave us the mental toughness and really brought it out of us. So I think going into the game, we just knew that no matter what punch they were going to throw, we were going to have to throw some punches back.
Head coach Justin D'Alessio said the stiff competition during the season prepared his team for the title game.
I always try to challenge our kids with a tough schedule. So we played some really tough opponents this year, seeing Central, Putnam, Northampton, Holyoke, preparing the guys early for moments like this, and it's not about wins and losses.
In the first quarter, Central started strong, using its size to score on several dunks inside the paint. The Golden Eagles were hitting from the three-point line and built up an early lead. Pope had scoring opportunities on fast breaks, but failed to convert. The game was physical, and both teams turned the ball over and missed scoring chances. Central was up by 8 after the first quarter and stretched it to 14 midway through the second. Jackson Mauer's 2 3-pointers in the final minutes closed the gap to 8 at the half. Despite the subpar performance, the Cardinals were within striking range. In the locker room, Garrett said Coach D'Alessio was optimistic.
I don't think it was much of a pep talk. I think it was just more like encouraging us to say, hey, 8's not that much to be down for. It's 4 baskets. We got to just stay together. We weren't worried about what they were going to come out and do. As Coach D always says, it's more about us. We're the 1 seed. We had to bring it. We had to bring it that third quarter and that second half. Absolutely.
The third quarter was the turning point. The Cardinals came out strong and changed up their defense, which slowed down Central's outside shooters, and their own shots started to drop. The Golden Eagles were starting to feel the pressure. Senior Tafari T.J. Reed entered the game needing only 2 points to reach the 1,000-point career mark. The Cardinals' playmaking guard and second-best scorer was shut down in the first half. He admits the pressure of scoring the 1,000th affected his play.
For me, it was just me to get out my head, because I was in my head throughout the whole first half. Yeah, it was in my mind, because I had everybody there for me, and all the balloons. So I was I just wanted it over with. I just wanted to get it done with.
With 4 minutes left in the third, Reed dribbled down court, sprinted to his left, headed for the basket, and banked it off the backboard.
With the Cardinals down 1, he'll look to take it in here. That is 1,000 for T.J. Reed.
I just wanted him to get it because I knew once he got it, he was going to be like a boulder off his chest.
3 Mayfield dunks and Reed's 7 gave the Cardinals a 7-point lead after 3. But the Golden Eagles were not done. In the fourth quarter, they hit 3 3-pointers and regained a 1-point lead with 2 minutes left. After a Pope timeout with 30 seconds left, Reed took a pass from Mauer at the top of the key and launched a floater for the eventual game winner.
TJ puts it in for 2. Central.
Vita Valley's free throw made it a 2-point lead, and Central's last-second heave bounced off the backboard. The Cardinals won 61-59 and reigned as Western Mass champs again.
It just feels great. Not many teams go back-to-back, and it's just history. We made history.
The players agree the team camaraderie throughout the season helped them in their run for the title.
I would say we're a tight-knit team. We're always hanging out of school and in school, and it's just good chemistry we have throughout the team.
This team just loves each other, and that's what really helps with games, because if you're not bonded together, then it falls apart.
The Cardinals now have back-to-back sectional titles. 4 years ago, their record was 2-16.
I know how difficult it is, so to get one is great, and now to get 2 in a row I try to tell these guys, is really special, so remember it and cherish it.
Pope celebrated for a few days before the State Division II tournament began with an entirely new cast of teams from across the Commonwealth. For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
The Cardinals entered the Division II state tournament last week, ranked 3rd overall. Back on March 1st at home, they beat Archbishop Williams in the round of 32 by 27 points. Unfortunately, on Tuesday, Pope Francis was upset by Bedford in the round of 16, ending their season and dream of capturing the state crown. However, next year, the future looks bright. With 3 starters returning, the Cardinals will look to three-peat for the Western Mass crown. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Thank you so much for watching today. Be sure to follow the latest news of the Catholic Church, both here in Western Massachusetts and around the world, on our news and information site, iobserve.org. There you'll find articles prepared by our Catholic Communications team and our partners at Our Sunday Visitor. That's iobserve.org, and we are also on Facebook, so you can go ahead and follow us there at Catholic Communications. I'll see you at this same time next week for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Enjoy your week.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.